we're going to learn Derech HaShem now. Derech HaShem, of course, the RAMCHAL is the author. And there is quite a lot of profound ideas in all the RAMCHAL's works. But Derech HaShem seems to target a lofty idea of how Hashem runs the world, and maybe a little bit to grasp of who we are and how we function, and how Hashem goes about, of course, with creation, and what the purpose of creation is, what the purpose of mankind is, and he gets into all of those deep values we have. So, Perek Shelishi, Bamin HaEnoshi. Keva zacharnu hayot adam ota beriya, that a person is a creation, hanivret lidavek bo yitbarach shemo. A person is a creation, of course, of Hashem, and we're created to cleave, to connect, to be attached. That's the word. Attached to Hashem. That's what we're here for. V'hi hamutelet ben hashlemut v'achesonot. And this is an obligation. This is something, whether it's for shlemut, for completion of a person, or to rectify the things that he lacks in. V'hayicholet beyado, and the capabilities are in our hands. Liknot hashlemut, to acquire completion of a man's midot, of his spirituality. It's very possible. V'ulam, however, tzarich sheyeh zu b'bchirato. A person needs to choose that, or it's an on. He has to have the will, desire to do that, just like anything in life. Ki'ilu haya mukhrach b'ma'asav liot bocher al kol panim b'shlemut. A person's actions should at least reflect that desire of shlemut. A person's actions reflect on what he's about, what he wants, what he's living for. Lo haya nikra be'emet ba'al shlemuto ki enenu be'alav kevan she'uchrach me'achel liknoto. It's not called a Baal Shlemut, a person who owns this completion. Why not? Because you need somebody. You need someone else to give you that completion. V'hamakneu Baal Shlemuto. Someone who sells it is the original owner. So you're not the original owner of this refinement of character, of completion of the man. V'lo hayta kavana elyona mitkayemet. And the will, the desire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't be fulfilled. Al ken uchrach sheyunach hadavar lebchirato. Therefore, it's very necessary that Hashem placed it in a person's choice, right? Shetiyeh nitiyato shkula, that he has a way to choose, and it's balanced. It's both ways. L'shnei atzadim, for both, he has two options. He usually has two ways to approach his life. We'll see what. Velo mukhrachat le'echad mehem, and he's not in any way pushed towards one or the other. He has a full freedom of choice. V'ye'avo koach ha'bechira, and he should have this koach, this strength of choice. Livchor b'da'at u'v'chevetz be'ezeh mehem sheyitzeh, to choose whichever way he wants to go. V'ayachod gam ken biyado leknot ezeh mehem sheyitzeh, and he has the ability it's in his hands, it's in his mind to acquire whatever way he wants to go. Al ken nivra adam b'yetzer tov v'yetzer hara. Person is created, of course, with yetzer tov and yetzer hara, the evil and good inclination. V'abechira biyado, the choice is his. La'atot atzmo l'tzad shu rotzeh. So those are the two ways. Generally, every person has one way the yetzer tov, one way yetzer hara, and he has full freedom of choice. Again, a person was created with the intention that he should attach himself to Hashem, and he seems to give us, the RAMCHAL seems to say how to do that, and it's by following Yetzer Tov. Additionally, we have two ways to go at all times, Yetzer Tov or Yetzer Hara. A person should always utilize his choice, of course, towards Yetzer Tov, and through that he will really come to Shleimut Adam, which is refinement, completion of man, which is the way that Hashem intended us to live with, and that is refinements of the character and spirituality of a person's life. Ulam, however, Heyot hadavar hazeh nishlam ka'aroi, kazacha hachokma העליונה, שיהיה האדם מורכב משני הפכים. Since this is a very perfect system, right? Hashem created everything perfectly. So Hashem really created us with a mixture of two opposites. Dehainu min neshama sichlit v'zaka. We're created with a neshama that's pure and it's perfect. V'guf atzi v'achur, and a body which is opposite of the neshama. Really, if you think, right, it's physicality, and the neshama is part of Hashem. So every human, every Jew has that opposite inside him. Shekol echad mehem yiteh b'tevel etzido. That each side will have certain strength to push towards that way. Dehainu aguf lachumiyot, which is the body towards physicality, v'haneshama lasichliut, and the soul of a person to, I'm not sure what he's referring to by sechel, but it could be a reference to other thought, other philosophy that human beings are driven to, and that's from your soul. So your soul wants thought, it wants the mental. We know that the soul is in the mind, in your head, not in your heart. So everything you think of, everything, it's all from your soul. It's either guided in the right way or misguided, chas v'shalom, and you'll think other things, the wrong things. So the soul has that side completely, and if we refine the soul, then it's going to push you towards the right things, of course. V'timatzeh, and it will be found benem milchama. We're going to find a battle be'ofen she'im tikba neshama titalehi utaleh aguf ima. It's going to come out. Of course, there's going to be a battle because there's two opposites. And if the soul, if it comes out stronger, so then the soul will be uplifted with the body. It's going to win over the body. So it's amazing how this whole process is in a person's choice. We don't just have freedom of choice in the sense that, you know, whatever you do or say or think or anything will kind of give you the fortune of life or make things turn out the way they are because of your choices. That's in a very basic level, that you are a product of your choices. In Judaism, it goes a step further. You are spiritually a product of your choices. You are. It doesn't end with, okay, that's what you are and that's it. Now it's another step. Whatever you choose, that's how you're going to be spiritually. That's how you're going to be connected with Hashem. There is another world that you can't see. There's a great effect on every movement, every thought you have. ויהיה אותו האדם המשתלם בשלמות המעוטד ואם יניח האדם. So, if he actually acquires shlemut, if he empowers the neshamat, so then the guf will be uplifted spiritually with it. Okay, ואם יניח האדם שינצח בו החומר, and if a person chas v'shalom lets the physicality win over him, הנה ישפל הגוף ותשפל נשמתו עמו. So the body will become lowered, and he says that it's going to be lowered because the body also has a mission in this world. Nothing Hashem created is just without a spiritual spark. The body, as we'll see in the days of Mashiach, will come up and have a significance of a person. The body is not just a piece of meat. It seems that way. It seems that, and we said that it's really driven toward physicality because that's where it comes from. We are Adam, we come from the ground, so we seek grounded things. However, there's also another side to the body that clicks with Hashem. It's a creation of Hashem, and a person is not an animal, right? A person has a special body designed special, the body of a person goes a lot of steps further than the body of an animal. So if so we want the soul to win over the body, and it's not that the soul will come up and the body will stay as is because it's physicality. The physicality of the body will be uplifted, and the body will come with the soul upward, heavenward. ויהיה אותו האדם בלתי הגון לשלמות. So if chas v'shalom, he lets the physicality overcome him, so he's not going to have the shlemut of spirituality. ונדחה ממנו chas v'shalom, and it will be pushed away from him, God forbid. ולאדם הזה יכולת להשפיל, and this person has the abilities to lower chomro לפני שכלו ונשמתו. He can really undermine that physicality and in turn raise up his soul and acquire his completion of how Hashem intended to create us. So a person has that ability, he has that choice. It's up to you. It's that simple. You have a choice. Every person, no matter what situation, no matter what he goes through, no matter how he was born, what family, it's in your hands. It's always in your hands. Gimel. V'amnam, however, it goes further. Kaza tuvo yitbach shemo. Hashem set up a system. Sheyeh gvul la'ishtadluto. There's a limitation to us, to our work, to everything. Right? If you choose it, that's one thing. You have to try and you have to put it into practice. And this practice has a limit. And once a person, which only Hashem knows, but he will feel, and once he knows that he finished it, he did the ishtadlut, Yasik shlemuto, he will reach that shlemut, ve'yanuach behanato, and he will be at peace. He'll be okay with accomplishing. Right? He will attain that shlemut, that completion. Lenetzach netzachim, of course, in olam haba, forever connected to Hashem, like we were intended to. Therefore, there was set up from Hashem 2 times. Echad zman ha'avodah, ve'echad zman kibul ha'sachar. There's a time to work and a time to collect wages. Of course, this world is the time of work, and the next world, we have the connection to Hashem in a form of great attachment to Hashem. Ve'ulam, however, midat hatov me'obeh, the midah of tov is greater. She'avodah yesh la zman mechukak. So there's something greater by. So Hashem was very kind, and Hashem is always good for us. He's always good to us, and He puts a set time for all of our hishtadlut. Kimo shegaza chachmato yitbarach shemo hayoto naot lazeh v'kibur hasachar en lo tachlit. So Hashem saw to it that there should be such a straightforward method that we're going to get the reward in the next world. The reward. Hu mitaneg ve'olech b'shleimut asher kana lo. He's going to keep growing in that shleimut. And He's going to keep on. It's not a cake that you enjoy once and then it becomes disgusting. It's always renewed. It's always a bigger pleasure. Not bigger. It's always another type of. There's always a spark of renewal in Olam Haba. There's no such thing as, getting things old there. Ve'ulam kefi hitchalef zmano. However, just as the time goes for a person's life, kach ra'oi she'itchalef matzavo. So also, his situation of life will change. Usha'amikav, and things that happen to a person. Kichol zeman ha'ishtadlut, that the whole time he has to try hard for his life. Hinei tzarich sheyeh betchuna achat. Behold, he says, it needs to be in one place. Shiuchel yimatzeh vo kol ha'inyanim hamitztarchim lo. So Hashem designed us and designs a person's stages of life. He designs it that we should have exactly what we need at the right time throughout a person's life. Lefi inyan ha'ishtadlut hazeh. Perush ki hinei muchach shetimatzeh lo ha'milchama shezecharnu ben hasechel ve'achomer. We know, of course, he's going to have a battle. He's going to have to wage war. ולא יהיה לו דבר שיקר את החומש לשלוט ולעשות את שלו. Unfortunately, no, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but the reality is nothing will stop your physicality from having its power over you. כפי השיעור הראוי לו, with whatever portion that you get of difficulty. ולא דבר שיעכב את השכל מלשלוט. You won't have anything, of course, the other way. Nothing will stop the seichel, the neshama, from having its power over you. Right? You don't have anything causing the physicality להתחזק יותר מן הראוי. You're not going to have something that supports physicality more than it should be. וגם לא יגרום לשכל להתחזק יותר מן הראוי. And the other way, you won't have something empowering your seichel, empowering the neshama more than Hashem wants it to. כי אף על פי שמצד אחד היה נראה זה יותר טוב, one might think it should be better to have empowerment of the soul. Then life would be better. No. הנה לפי הכוונה האמיתית והעניין הנמצא, looking at the perfect intent of Hashem of creating mankind, it does not It does not add up that way. It doesn't work that way. Shu kiniyat hashlemut bishtadluto. Why? Because it's all about the requirements. It's all about, as we open the chapter, it's all about the freedom of choice. So the way Hashem set it up won't be in par with giving us that extra fuel for the neshama. It's going to be a 50-50, right? Your soul and the body. So, v'ha'inyan hanitzeh ba'adam shehu kniyat hashlemut b'ishtadluto, that it's acquiring shlemut, einenu tov. It's not going to fit in that way. Uvizman kibul sacha, and in a time when a person gets his reward, hine ra'ui lo sheyeh b'matzav hofchi lazeh. So he's going to be in a complete opposite situation, right? Because now it's time to get reward. Ki hine kol ma sheyeh hachomer sholet be'oto zman, that in this world we had all of the physicality doing its damage, right? Giving its power to it. Hine lo haya el machshich ume'akev. This was only darkening and was only holding the holy soul back. Shlo tidabek babo yitbarach shemo. Like we open in the chapter that we're here to attach to Hashem. This body was stopping you. Every soul, we all have a holy neshama. Every Jew has a soul that wants to connect and attach itself to Hashem. That is the blinding truth. But there is darkness, and that body provides darkness as a blockage. V'alken hine ra'oi hu shelo tishlot az ela neshama. So yeah, that makes sense, of course. Therefore, in the next world, only the neshama will have the power, the soul. And guess what? The body and the physicality will chase and go by the soul's lead. Follow after it. There's going to be supreme dominion by the soul. And the body will have no choice but to follow it. V'omnam, he says, however, al ken niv'u shnei ha'olamot, olam hazeh ve'olam haba. We have this world and the next world to come. Hashem created it. Olam hazeh ha'makom ve'achukim ha'tiviyim shelo. This world's nature and its foundations. It's befit to be in this situation, right? That we're in this world to fight for the soul, to work hard for it. And like we said, like the RAMCHAL said right now, that in the next world there's not going to be any power for the physicality. Because his very nature of Olam Haba, lo bizman kibul hasachar. It's befit to reap the benefits that we worked so hard for. And that's a state of the next world. And he goes further to say, Vav. הנה אדם הראשון בעת יצירתו היה ממש באותו המצב שזכרנו. Adam HaRishon was in this state that we just discussed, right when he was born. Created. עד הנה דהיינו שהוא היה מורכב מן שני החלקים. That he was mixed, he has a mixture of these two differences, halfkim, that are opposites. She'amarnu, that we said, she'em haneshama ve'aguf. Right? So Adam HaRishon was created with these opposites, this turmoil. which is the soul and the body. Uvamtziut hayu shne ha'inyanim. And in reality, there was two concepts, which is tov v'ra, good and evil. V'hu omed b'shikul b'neim, and he's standing before these opposites. Le'davek b'ma sheyetzeh mehem, and he can attach to whatever he chooses, whatever he wants. V'hine haya ra'ui lo shivcha batov. Of course, it is better for man to choose good. V'yagbir nishmato al gufo, and he should overpower his physicality, his guf, with his soul. V'sichlo al chomro, and his sechel, his power of mind, he should strengthen it over the physicality of a person. V'az haya mishtalem miyad, and if Adam HaRishon chose that path, he would be perfect. V'nach b'shlemut hanetzach, and he will forevermore be connected to Hashem with the shlemut that we have described. V'tzarich sheteda, and we have to know, she'af al pi she'en anu magishim la neshama, that we don't feel, a person doesn't feel his soul in the body. We only experience life, the breath of life, and the mind, right? And that's all empowered by the soul. However, it is true. It has the ability to, like we said, upraise but to purify this body that the soul is kind of enclosed in. And to really transcend the physicality of the body, and to keep growing and going higher and higher, until it will be fitting that the soul could be on that same level, but it's going to go together with the body. However, the דבר זה היה אדם הראשון מגיע אילו לא חטא. This completion and perfection of the body would only happen if Adam HaRishon, of course, did not sin with eating from the Etz Hadat. שהייתה נשמתו מזככת את גופו, that the soul will purify the body, zikuch achar zikuch, again and again and again, עד שהיה מזדכך השיעור, until the level of purification would add up, המצטייך ונקבע בתענוג הנצחי, will be implemented into his eternal reward. So that's the koach haneshama ala guf le'hafcho le'uchniyut, right? So that would be the ideal situation, of course. It didn't happen. And now we are all souls brought about by Adam HaRishon, and now we have to do our own specific mission in this world, as we all are special neshamot, and the way to do it is, of course, to overpower the physicality of a person's body with the soul, in order that both of them should rise up together. וכיוון שחטא האדם הראשון, נשתנו הדברים שינוי גדול. Now, though, that Adam HaRishon had sinned, he transgressed and did that sin, so everything changes now. Everything changes. And which is כי הנה בתחילה היו בבריאה חסרונות שהיו. The creation had its imperfections. בשיעור מה שהיה מצטרך לשיהיה האדם הראשון במצב השיקול שזכרנו, that Adam can go ahead and fill up that void of imperfection. ויהיה לו מקום להרוויח את השלמות ביגיע כפיו. And Adam HaRishon would attain the shlemut with the work. That was the ideal, perfect situation. Omnam. However, since he sinned, nosfu, it was added, mitrabu, chesronot be'atzmo shel Adam, u'va'buriya kula. So, what was added and something increased now. Something was increased. And in all of us, there is more imperfections. And also in the whole creation. Adam HaRishon affected the whole creation. So now there's more imperfection now. Ve'od nitkasha tikun mima she'aya kodem. In the beginning, when Hashem created Adam HaRishon, there was one level, there was one mission for Adam, and there wasn't supposed to be sin. But now that sin happened, there's even a bigger deficit. Hashem created a deficit to begin with that Adam should fulfill. And this is where we say that the RAMCHAL takes everything as much as he saw fit to write, of course. We don't know the lofty level of holiness, the RAMCHAL, of course. But what he did transfer is a way to grasp of what the situation in this world is and what are we here for and what we're dealing with. So he describes that when Adam HaRishon was created by Hashem, there was a certain void. Adam had the mission to fill that and finish the tikkun. That's it, close the books, start to open them and have olam haba and eternal bliss. That sin Adam was not supposed to do. And there wasn't supposed to be a sin. So now that the sin was done, that created a further blemish in the Bria, another deficit, another imperfection. So what happens? Now we have a bigger void to fill. It's not that level that Hashem created for Adam HaRishon to fill. Now there's something that wasn't supposed to happen. And that only makes it more perfect. Because we know that the very nature of a sin is not what Hashem desires. But Hashem created freedom of choice and the ability to sin, chas v'shalom. So really what a sin is, what we can take out from here, is that it's ruining creation. There's a bigger imperfection now. It's a virus in the code. There was not, you only have goodness. Hashem only, where is there room for sin? Why should it, and that's exactly why it's so bad, and it's our mission it's all the more perfect now, and it's all the more of a mission to go ahead and perfect ourselves. Because it is a virus, it's a sickness. So now, right, we have a bigger void to fill. So that's where RAMCHAL is saying that after Adam HaRishon sinned, he says that's why he says every word of the RAMCHAL is known. RAMCHAL is known to have very deep understandings that maybe we don't even know behind these words. But just reading it comes to mind and maybe sheds light on these words. What does he mean that now? That's what he means. That after Adam sinned, there's something that's not according to plan. Hashem planned a deficit and there should be a fulfillment with Adam's rectification, with holding off from one mitzvah that he was commanded not to eat from Etz Hadat. That would have been it. And that's what Hashem intended. That was the code of the world. That was the underpinnings of creation. That's why he says Shinoi Gadol. Now we see how catastrophic a sin is. It's something against the code of every fiber of our being, every fiber of creation. It ruins creation. So that's why maybe he uses the words that Shinui Gadol, after Adam Rishon sinned, a rather different and a great difference really kicked in creation. Furthermore, it is a greater difficulty of doing the tikkun, rectification, than it was originally intended to be. It doesn't mean you have a greater nisayon than Adam Rishon. We can't put ourselves in his shoes. He had, maybe the greatest nisayon. It's a different topic, but okay. Perush, now it's different. Ki hine batchila haya nakel lo latzet min hachesaron. It's just, as I read this, it's so amazing how the RAMCHAL is evolving the story of creation and our very lives and our duty in this world. So he puts like a blueprint on how things should be. So it was going to be easier. In the beginning, it was easier to get out of the deficit. Hamudba, that was implemented. And to acquire shleimut and to fill that void that Hashem created in Adam HaRishon. Shekach sidra hachokma ha'elyona tedavarim, that the great wisdom, which is Hashem, He created this procedure, the seder, right? Al pi midat hatov ve'ayosher, according to the midah of good and yosher, straightness. Ki ya'an lo haya siba la'ra ve'lachisayon shebo. There's no reason for evil. Ela shekach hudba b'tziyato. That is the way he was created. והנה במה שישיא עצמו מן הרע ויפנה אל הטוב, להשיג מיד צאתו מן החיסרון וקנותו השלמות. Through taking away the evil, removing from himself, and bringing in the good, the straightness, the tov, good. Yasig miyad tzeto min hachisaron. He's gonna come to that level. Uknoto hashlemut. Omnam becheto. Once again, when Adam sinned, kevan she'al yado nistara hashlemut. Yoter mishayta. Like we were saying, right? That he made it a bigger void, and now the shlemut is hidden even more than it was going to be hidden. And now also, you're saying it goes both ways. You're saying the shlemut is further away from us, and what's greater? The imperfections. V'haya hu hagorem ra'a le'atzmo. So this is, of course, our own undoing. Hine lo yeh od kol kach kal lo leshuv. So now it's not going to be so easy for mankind to return to its perfect state. Ltzet min hachisaron v'leiknot hashlemut. Ki Moshe haya ve'et shelo haya hu gramat chesono. Fits in beautifully how we said. I think he's saying it just how we explained before. That Hashem didn't intend for there to be this deficit. He is the cause of his own deficit. Now that you caused the Adam, now that you, mankind, have put yourself in that place. שכך נוצר מעיקרו. וכמו שזכרתי וכל שכן בהכרח שהשתדלותו המצטרך. Now he brings up how he explained previously that השתדלותו המצטרך עתה להגיע. The השתדלות now we have to do להשלמות הנה הוא כפול, to come to the best השתדלות that we're supposed to. וכל שכן שבהכרח השתדלותו, that it has to be המצטרך עתה להגיע לשלמות הנה הוא כפול. Now the השתדלות that a person needs to do in his life is doubled after the sin of Adam HaRishon. כי יצטרך תחילה שישובו האדם והעולם, because first what's needed is that mankind and the world must go back to the original state. אל המצב שהיה בראשונה קודם החטא. He says it in a beautiful, logical manner to bring light to history and what our mission for the soul is now. And he says, so, ואחר כך שהתעלו מן המצב ההוא אל מצב השלמות שהיה ראוי לאדם שיעלה. Wow. Okay, so we were intended, again, from the creation of the world, to have a certain void and to fill it. What happens? Adam HaRishon did not keep to that one mitzvah, and everything flipped. Things changed now. The world became a different reality, not like Hashem planned, so to speak, right? Because Hashem knows it. So now, after the sin of Adam HaRishon, it is double-fold our mission, our ishtadlut for our perfection. We have to try double. Now, he's putting in perspective. We have to go back to the original state of Adam HaRishon. That's step one. Step two, we have to get to where he was supposed to get. And that really brings things to light now. We're not just here on the accord of your own life and you're part of a big piece. You're part of the greatest rectification ever, which is Adam HaRishon. How so? Because now we are responsible not only to bring ourselves to the state where Hashem created mankind, Adam HaRishon, because now we're in a bigger deficit, so we got to get back there. And once a person reaches that level, whatever way and whatever that means, we have to actually increase the ishtadlut to reach further what Hashem intended. We have to get to that level where Hashem originally programmed the world, that Adam should come in and keep that mitzvah and finish it and perfect creation. So our ishtadlut needs to be greater. Mizad Hashem, we will be zocheh. Everybody should perfect and bring up the soul within the body together, and we should reach shlemut and perfection and attain perfection in our attachment to Hashem. Mizad Hashem. Thank you very much.